and I think one of the manliest things and the most alpha male thing a guy can do is what you and I do, which is work for yourself. You know,
Yeah.
I think guys like us, we don't do well answering to others for a long time.
No, I never have. I don't think I worked for somebody else for more than a year at the longest, and that was just a couple of times. My brother and I went into business when I first started this company. This one company I have, and he had been working at a company called Monsanto for quite a few years, but they had laid him off, and they laid off and on for years until he finally
Mhm.
retired. But he said, "How can you stand not knowing whether you're going to get money? A job's going to come in." I said, "Well, you just have to trust." But the
Mhm.
reality is, as you know, big companies nowadays, you may go in one day and a company's been there 50 years and it may close up and just so there is no security anywhere unless you find that security in yourself and trusting that if you do the next right thing, things will work out for you. It doesn't mean
Mhm.
everything is always going to be easy or simple, but I like the challenge and I'm sure you do too. I kind of like the uncertainty.
Mm. I just had a lot of. It took me, it took me a lot of years, but I do have a lot of faith and confidence in myself
There you
to
go.
figure it out, to be able to be like, you know what, like I am gonna be able to pull this off. I'm smart enough. I'm strong enough. I'm resilient enough, and I've been poor before. Like to be honest, I have all the luxury and the trinkets and all that crap. But to be honest with you, the things that made me happy before are still the things that make me happy today. For
Right.
me, if you tell my dad's side's from Virginia, so if you tell my white
Ah.
trash ass we're going to Outback, I'm fucking happy. If we're going to Outback Steakhouse, I'm like, all right, you want to go now or like
Yeah.
when we leaving? Can we get the blooming onion? So
Yeah.
I can live I can live simply, and quite frankly, as you get older, you just kind of like things simpler. I think you don't
Right.
need all the doodads and all that shit.
Right.
So,
Now
but
I'll tell
yeah,
you, I can tell you a little
go ahead.
short story about when I lived in Latin America. You talk about being poor.
Oh yeah.
We lived like the local natives lived. It was like we lived like on the base of a volcano mountain, and in the morning the farmers would go past our house with the mules, and there was fleas. They would fly off there and get on you. And we had a cornstalk kitchen, but I couldn't handle that, so I had to buy a hot plate and cook on that. But I was starting an English school there. I lived there for 6 years, and I would walk 12 miles a day to teach English for $1 an hour until I started getting enough clients to actually rent a building and have the school. But we lived on about $600 a month
Oh well.
from money that I had from the States. And that was with my wife and 3 kids. So, and we paid $100 a month for rent in this place. And it was 10 cornstalk walls and concrete, cold shower,
Hmm.
a stool with no lid. So we
Oh
slept
wow.
on the floor on concrete floor on just foam mattresses. So, but I'm gonna tell you what, I was with my wife at the time, ex-wife. Now that was one of the happiest, most fulfilling times I had with a woman because we were both working towards the common goal of building the school and getting clients, and it was really a great
Hmm.
time.
Yeah, it's good when you have a woman in your life and you both are on the same page,
Right.
striving for that same goal. It's a kind of it's a beautiful bond and experience that you really can't replicate with some slut, quite
Yeah.
frankly. Like when you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
when you're building with a good woman, and
Right.
you're both she's on the same page as you. Like I've been kind of having this point in my life where I've had this eye opening moment. Started about November last year, where I just realized, like, man, this whole just endlessly fucking a bunch of girls, it really leads to nowhere, and it is kind of like a hollow lifestyle.
Right. Well, when you're in your 20s, it's exciting. I mean, I would like to just go out and get laid when I was in my 20s. That was fun. I mean, I had a lot of women. I had a wife, and plus I had several steady girls and other girls I was sleeping with. And that was all exciting and fun. But when you get older, it's like I can be with beautiful girls and beautiful young girls now, but it's like I want something more than just a pretty face. And as you know, nowadays, there's so many women that think that's all they need is a pretty face, pretty body. All they need to be is good looking. But
Hmm.
as you mature, you want so much more than that. Not that you want to
Yeah.
marry every girl you meet or make her your girlfriend, but you just want something more than just beauty. Because beauty is
Yeah.
fleeting and it's common.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, right? Nowadays, right? If a girl's beautiful, but if she's a dirt bag or she's like a piece of garbage or she's lazy or
Yeah,
she,
lazy.
got bad habits, smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, doing drugs, going out drinking and stuff. Like what who wants to bring that into their life? You know what I mean?
Right. Unless you're 20 years old and you just want to get laid, or, I mean, in your 20s, I mean, that's okay if you're just looking for that. But as I said, as we get older and as you've discovered, we want something a little more, something with some substance,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
some depth.
Yeah. And then it's just for me when I am when I'm with a girl, right? The thing is, she's got to bring something to the table other than
Right.
that fucking vagina.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
that gets old quick, doesn't it?
That gets old real quick. I mean,
I don't
if
care
that's
how
all she's
beautiful she
bringing,
is. Yeah.
if that's all she's bringing to the table, it's going to be old, and I don't really care what anybody has to say about that. It's important that guys realize that too. That's why at the beginning of my show, I'd say, that's the reason I teach modern life dating is because I do it so guys can like learn about dating, master this skill so they can move on with their life. Because I mean, you probably seen it your whole life. How many guys are like slaves to pussy, slaves
Yeah.
to chasing pussy their whole life. Their
Right.
whole life. I mean, how many guys have you seen wasting their lives away doing that?
Well, I'll tell you what, when I got the most was when I wasn't chasing it. It was when I was chasing either my boxing career, my triathlons, or something else. That's when they kind of, anytime I ever went out looking, like we used to have dances here. We go out to a dance and the guys would say, oh, let's go hunting. In my early 20s, we never was able to do any good then. But if I was just out and doing my stuff, doing what I'm supposed to do, what I loved, then I had girls chasing me. And that's the way it works. But back to these young guys, what it's hard for them to realize, and I was young once too, is as we said, no matter how beautiful she is, after 3 or 6 months, you will get tired of that pussy, is what's going to happen. But it's hard for them
Hmm.
to understand that a man who has not had many women, they think, no, she's beautiful. I would never get tired of her. But you will if she doesn't have something of substance and some depth to offer.